In the far north, where the sea smoked in the morning chill and cliffs broke like teeth against the waves, stood a lonely outpost called Cragwatch. It was built of stone and driftwood, perched so precariously on the edge of a precipice that visitors swore it would topple into the sea with the next storm. Few ever came that way, for the paths leading there were treacherous, and the ocean below was said to sing. The people of the fishing villages nearby avoided Cragwatch after dark, whispering of a figure they called the Widow of the Waves. She was said to stand at the cliff's edge, hair streaming like seaweed, her voice carrying through the wind with mournful calls. Sailors claimed that those who answered her cry were never seen again. But one autumn night, a boy named IIC, restless with grief after losing his father to the sea, walked the broken path to the outpost. He carried only a lantern and the shell his father had given him, worn smooth from years of handling. He believed the stories, yes, but something deeper urged him on. If the widow was real, perhaps she knew where the last went. Perhaps she could tell him whether his father still drifted in some hidden place. When he reached Cragwatch, the storm was already swelling. The sea roared far below, and the rocks trembled beneath the wind's force. Then he heard it, the call, soft at first, like a lullaby carried from a great distance, then sharper, filled with longing. His lantern flickered. The widow stood at the cliff's edge, her gown rippling like foam. She turned, and though her face was pale as moonlight, her eyes were not cruel, they were hollow with sorrow, as if she too had lost everything to the tide. I see, she whispered, calling him by name though they had never met. The sea does not keep what it takes. It carries them farther, beyond the reach of even memory. But there is one thing you may do. She beckoned to the edge. Fear clawed at him, yet he stepped closer. The shell in his hand grew warm, pulsing faintly, as if it still remembered his father's touch. Cast it to the water, she said, so the waves may know his name and bear it forever. Only then will the silence loosen its hold. With shaking fingers, IIC threw the shell into the storm. The moment it vanished, the widow dissolved into mist, her song swallowed by the wind. The sea stilled, just for a breath, as if it had taken the offering and agreed to carry it. IIC returned at dawn, weary but lighter, the grief no longer pressing so heavily against his chest. From then on, the villagers said the widow no longer cried at Cragwatch, but when the waves struck the cliffs on stormy nights, they sometimes carried a sound like a father's voice calling a boy home.